Video is going to teach how we can sketch the graph of an ellipse not centered at the origin. Okay, so in other words, this is sort of a general ellipse. So if you haven't watched the first video, by the way, you should take a look at that one. But if that one already makes sense to you, you want to know how to do it not at the origin, then this is the one for you. So before we had this one is centered at the origin. But I'm going to now draw or write down the equation for an ellipse that is not centered at the origin. This one can be centered anywhere, actually. So this guy is not centered at the origin. In fact, the center is going to equal HK, just like when we did the circles. Okay. So the center is given by the HK. Remember what everything else means. This is the horizontal stretching. And this guy right here is the vertical stretching. So what we need to do is just to identify the center. Step 2 is find the vertices. Using A and B. Finally, step 3, draw the ellipse. Okay, so it's really just 3 steps. I want us to make sure that we label all important points at the end. Alright, so let me go ahead and do an example. So our first example is going to be x plus 4 squared over 9 plus y minus 4 squared over 16 equals 1. And I guess I forgot to say what we're doing here. Sketch the ellipse. Okay. So let's first write down the center. The center is going to equal, well, look next to the x we have a 4, and next to the y we have a negative 4. But look at the formula. The formula actually already has built-in negative signs. And so the center is going to be negative 4, comma 4. Negative 4 from this guy, and 4 from this guy. Yes, the signs are being reversed. So this is the center. So negative 4, 4 would be right here. And then using the stretching, we're going to see how to count. Now notice this 9 right here is actually 3 squared. And this 16 right here is actually 4 squared. That means that 3 is going to be the horizontal stretching. And 4 is going to be the vertical stretching. So I'm going to count up 4 spaces. Down 4 spaces. We're going to go right 3 spaces. Left 3 spaces. We end up getting this ellipse right here. So again, the A and the B, the things underneath, tell us which way to stretch and how much to stretch, whereas the center tells us where to start counting from. Let's go ahead and label all of our points. This is negative 4, 4. Then we've got negative 4, 8. We've got negative 4, negative 1. We've got negative 1, 4. And then over here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So this would be negative 7, 4. And that's it. That's how we label it, and we're done with our first example. Okay, let's try another example. So we're going to sketch the ellipse. X plus 2 squared over 25 plus y minus 4 squared over 9 equals 1. Okay. So we're going to start by writing down the stretches. This is 5 squared, this one is 3 squared. Remember, this is horizontal, and this one is vertical. Also, let's write down the center. Don't forget that we need to reverse these signs. That means that the center is actually negative 2, positive 4. Okay, negative 2, positive 4. So we're ready to draw the picture. Believe it or not, that is all it takes. Negative 2, negative 4. Oh, sorry, negative 2, positive 4. So there's that, and now remember we need to count. To the left and right, we need to count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be right over here. And to the left, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count 5 this way. Up and down, we've got to go up 3. So up 3 and down 3. Let's try to connect these dots without it being too horrible. And let's label all of these points. This one is negative 2, 4. Then we have negative 2, 7. And this one is negative 2, 1. And then we have 3, 4. And then we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Negative 7, 4. And that is it. That's how we sketch the ellipse. It's really a matter of just getting practice in and being able to work on it so many times that you get it down. It's really not that hard. We're going to do one more. Now this is an interesting problem because it looks like we're missing the x part underneath. We're actually not missing it though because we know that whenever there's nothing under something we can imagine there being a 1 there. So in fact this guy is equal to 1 squared and this guy is equal to 2 squared. Remember, these have to do with the horizontal stretching and the vertical stretching. Also the center. Remember, we want the reverse of these. What's being grouped with the x here? We can think of this as being x minus 0 squared, right, since there's nothing attached. Well, the reverse of 0 is just 0, so actually it's just going to be 0, comma, negative 3. That would be the center. Let's go ahead and start drawing our picture. So 0, negative 3 is right there. Now we're going to count 1 to the right and 1 to the left. Then we're going to count 2 up and 2 down. 2 up and 2 down, and so it looks like this. Let's go ahead and label these points. This is going to be 0, negative 1. This is 0, negative 3. And this one is 1, negative 3. And this one is negative 1, negative 3. So the point of this problem is to be really careful when you have nothing attached to a number like this x over here. If there's nothing attached, then that just means that the center is going to have 0 for that part. Oops, I forgot to label this one. 0, negative 5. That makes it complete. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope it was helpful. So this video is going to teach how we can sketch